Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain in Python Django web tutorials using jQuery DatePicker how to insert a selected date into MySQL PHP MyAdmin database. Now after I reload the browser, now let's add employee name Ben again. Now this time I'm selecting the 10th May 2020, click insert. So here we got the employee name Ben is saved successfully. Let's check. Right now we got only one record in this table emp join. Let's browse. So here we got the Ben details is inserted successfully. The ID is 2, employee name is Ben, and employee join date is this one. That's it. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a Django web application, first we'll create a new table in PHP MyAdmin database, which is MySQL server. The table I want to create it in this my code. Let me browse this database first. Notice in this database there is no tables. So right now this database is totally empty. Let's create a new database. I'm clicking the SQL tab. Now let's create a table in this database. Create table emp join, and the column names are ID, integer type, not null. I'm adding primary key, and it's an auto increment column. The next column is a emp name, varchar 150, and the last one is a emp join date. The data type I'm adding the date time. Let's close with the parenthesis and semicolon. Now click go button to create a table. Click go, and here we got the results. The table has been created successfully in this database. Let me browse this newly created table. Right now this table emp join contains 0 rows. Let's insert some new records into this table using jQuery DatePicker. Before creating a Django web application, first we'll create a new folder. I'm creating a new folder in local disk D drive. Right click the mouse, select new, then I'm selecting folder, and the folder name is date-join is my folder name. Let's browse this folder. Right now this folder is totally empty. Now let's create a new Django web application in this folder. I'm using Visual Studio Code to create a Django web application, but before that we'll add the folder which we have created in the D drive. For that, go to file, then click open folder. Now let's select our folder name, which is a date-join, then click select folder. And the folder is added successfully to our Explorer panel. At the right side we got the welcome page. Let's close this welcome page. Now let's create a new Django web application in this folder. For that, go to view and select terminal. And here we got our terminal, which is nothing but a command prompt. If you notice the date join, which is about the folder name I have created in the path. Now in this folder we'll create a Django application, Django-admin start project. The project name is emp join is my application name. And here our application emp join is successfully created in our folder. Let me expand this application. In this application there is one subfolder with the same project name and one manage.py. Let me expand this subfolder also. If you notice in the subfolder there are some default Python files, settings.py, urls.py. All these files and folders has been created automatically when I create this start project emp join. Now after creating the project, next when we want to render our templates in Django application, we require one special folder called templates folder. So let's create a new folder in our application called templates. I'm selecting the application name, right click the mouse, select new folder, and the folder name is the templates. Enter, and here we got our templates folder. Now in this templates folder contains all my HTML pages. First, let's add one HTML page in this templates folder. Select the templates folder, right click the mouse, click new file, and the file name is index.html. Enter. And here we got our index.html page. Now, before adding the designing part in this HTML page, first we'll add one models page in our subfolder. So select the subfolder, right click the mouse, click new file, the file name is models.py. Enter. And here we got our models.py. Now in this models.py page contains a class with some properties. So before that, we'll import the necessary class Django from Django and dot db import. I require the models class. Then now let's declare a class. The class name is emp. The class name is the employee class. employee employee. Models dot model is capital M colon. Now in this class contains properties. So if you notice in our table, there are three columns: ID, emp name, emp join date. The ID column is the auto generate column, so I don't require a property for this column. So I require the emp name and emp join date. So let's create these two properties: emp join, emp name is equals to models dot. Careful, the data type is careful max underscore length is equals to 100. After that, the next property I'm adding for this emp join date. Copy that one and paste here the column name, which is our property here. Models dot date field is our data type. That's it. After adding the properties in this class, in this models.py page, let's save this file, save all. Now we require the views.py. Select the subfolder, right click the mouse, click new file. The file name is views.py. Enter. And here we got our views.py. Now in this views.py, we'll add the logic to insert the records into the database table. But before that, we need to import the necessary classes. First, I'm importing from Django.shortcuts import. I'm importing render class. The next class, we require the class name from this models page. Let's copy this employee class name from this models, and from the models class is inside the emp join. So emp join our application name dot models. In this models, I'm importing the employee class name. And after that, let's define a function def insert record is my function name, which contains a request colon. Here when we are inserting the records, the method is post. So if request dot method double equals to post colon if, and in the second if condition, the values we are getting from the HTML elements which we have not added in this HTML page. So let's add first request dot post dot get method between single quotes. We'll add the value. At this moment, leave this blank and let's copy this one, request a post.get and paste here for this date. Second one is for the date colon. Now let's create an object. Save object obj is equals to employee. This class name we have to add. We need to add in the parenthesis. Now save object dot, from this employee class let's add our properties emp name, copy this one, and views is equals to the value emp name we are getting from here, post.get method. Again save object dot, the second property is the emp join date, copy that one and paste here, is equals to the second get method for the date, copy that one and paste here. After that I'm adding the connection class to insert the records in MySQL table. So from Django.db import connection. So here I'm declaring a variable cursor is equals to, this connection class contains a cursor method. The cursor method here I'm implementing in Django applications. When we want to execute the SQL statements or store procedure, we require this cursor method. So let's execute cursor dot execute method between double quotes, and I want to execute the insert statement. So let's add the insert into the table name is emp join, copy that one and paste here. Let's add the column names which are the emp name, copy this one and paste here, and also emp join date. Here my properties and the column names in a table both are same. So values double quotes, single quotes, plus plus. No, first here single quotes. First add the single quotes, then add the double quotes. Now between this plus plus, I am adding say object emp name, copy this one and paste here, and second property is, let's copy this one, paste here. That's it. We have to change, instead of emp name we have to add emp join date. So once the record are inserted successfully, I want to display the message. For that we require one more message class here from Django.contrib import messages class I'm adding here, then messages dot success method. The success method takes two parameters. The first one is a request, then I want to display the message, the employee name, employee name plus plus is saved successfully, and between this plus plus I want to display the employee name. So that employee name we are getting from this save object.emp name. After that, once the record is inserted successfully, I want to return this function, render. I want to render request, between double quotes I am adding index.html. This our template name I'm adding here, index.html. Next we require the else part, else return render request. Between double quotes I'm adding index.html. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now what I'm doing, switch to the index.html. So first let's add the doc type here, doc type. I'm closing the HTML tag. Inside the HTML tag I'm adding the header section. In the header section I'm adding the title. In the title, insert date into database. After the header section I'm adding body tags. Inside the body tag I'm adding the center tag, and in the center tag let's add the h1. And so here how to insert the header tag is data into database. With jQuery DatePicker h2 Django Python tutorials. After the headings I'm adding horizontal line. Now after the horizontal line I'm adding a simple table element. Inside that table I'm adding a border property is 1, and this table contains tr. The table rows contains the table headers. In our table we have 3 columns: employee ID. The second column name is a header is the employee name, and the next one is the join date. Then tr, these are the small trs, so delete this one. Tr, the first tr is input type is equals to text. Text, let's close the text element. Let's add the placeholder is employee name, and I'm adding the validation, HTML validation required. Autocomplete property is off. And next tr for the to display the calendar, the jQuery DatePicker calendar. Input type is equals to, here I'm adding the type is date type. Placeholder, I don't require the placeholder here, just I'm adding the required. Autocomplete is equals to off. Autocomplete is equals to off. Let's close the date element. That's it. Now here one important point is I'm adding the name property is equals to, here the name I'm adding my column names of the table, emp name. Copy this one, paste here, and for the date element I'm adding the name is equals to emp join date. Copy that one and paste here. Now let's add both these names. If you check in the views, in the get method, first join date and the second employee name, emp name, this one. We have to name the name properties here. Emp name, this one also emp name, and this one is emp join date. Copy this one and paste here. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now we need to configure the URLs also, urls.py. Open that one In the urls.py, first let's import the views import dot first we have to use the from dot import views, and in the URL patterns path between single quotes comma views dot I want to render my application name. The template name is index.html with the help of this function name insert rec. Copy that function name and place here. That's it. We have configured the URLs also. Let's save this file. Now the most important step in the settings.py, open that one. Now first in the settings.py, come to the installed application between single quotes. Let's add the application name, which is emp join. This is the emp join. Copy that one. I'm pasting here. We have to add the application name in install_apps. Then when we want to render our HTML templates, we need to configure this directory section os.path.join method. This join method takes two parameters. First one is a base directory, comma, between single quotes I'm adding the folder name is a templates. Then come to the bottom. Notice here in the database section, the default database is a SQLite, but our database is a MySQL. So I am adding MySQL, and the name, I'm deleting this default line, the code between single quotes. Here our database name is, in our database, mycode. Let's add that one, mycode. Then we require the user colon, username is root, and the next is the password colon. Again, now between these double quotes, I'm not adding my password here because I don't have any password to log into my PHP my admin database. If you have any password, please enter that one here. Now the next one is the host between single quotes. Between single quotes is a host. Between single quotes is local host. Friends, here this is not double quotes, it's single quotes. And the next attribute, I require the port number of my database, which is, if you don't know the port number, here the MySQL port number is 3306. Let's add that one, 3306. Next, we require the options colon, between curly brackets, again between single quotes, I'm adding init_command colon, between double quotes, I'm setting the SQL_mode is equals to, between single quotes, strict_trans_tables. Let's close with this comma. That's it. We have configured our MySQL connection string in this database. Let's save this file. Save all. Again switch back to the index.html. Now here in the index.html, when we are posting the data, we need to add the form tag. Form method is equals to, the method is post. Let's close the form tag. I am closing this form tag after the table element. Then again go to top in the form section. We'll add between curly brackets %, and this is the most important command, csrf_token. In Django applications, when we are posting the data, this line CSF underscore token, it protects our data from the hackers. So make sure when we are posting the data, add this line, otherwise you'll get an error. So after that, and next, if you check in the views, once the record is inserted successfully, I want to display this message. For that, I'm using this messages classes. So I can switch it to the index.html to display the message. After the table, I'm adding between curly brackets percentage if condition, if messages and percentage, let's close the and if. And now we require the for loop also. For result, in result is an object here, or in the messages class, and also we have to close the for loop using and for to close the for loop. The last one, between the expression between double curly brackets, I am adding the object result. This result I am adding here. Now what I am doing, I am adding this h2 tags, and I want to display the message between h2 tags. With the style, I am adding a style for the headings. h2 style is equals to color column green. I want to display the text color is green color. That's it. Let's save this file. We have done the complete coding part. Now to run the server, switch to the terminal. First we'll add my application name to the path. Enter. Then let's run the server. Python manage.py. To run the server, we need to add this manage.py here. Run server. Enter. See, after we run the server, we don't have any issues. Below that, we got our web. Now let's browse this Control plus mouse click to run our application on the browser. And here we got the output here. If something went wrong in the table, what I did here, we don't require the table headers, sorry. tr td, I am closing this td. After that, text box element, the first td we require the employee name, and second td td join date, and here I am adding this td small t. I am closing this t at the end of this date element. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now let's reload the browser again. Enter. So now we got the employee name and join date. Oops, here I forgot to add the button control also. After the table, I'm adding the input type is equals to submit button, submit value is equals to insert the button label name. Let's close the button control. Save this file, save all. Now we'll check the output. So here we got the insert button control also. The employee name, the date, and the button control. Notice when I click the calendar, displaying the normal calendar, HTML calendar here. So first, before adding the jQuery DatePicker to this application, we'll add first record. The employee name is Charan and the date I'm selecting, and 6th May of 2020. Click insert. And here we got a message, the employee name Charan is saved successfully. Let's check in our database. Right now this employee EMP joined 0 rows. Click browse. Now we got a new output of this table. EMP name is Charan is successfully added, and the EMP join date. The join date is this one we have chosen from the calendar link. Now let's implement the jQuery DatePicker to our application. So first, when we want to implement jQuery, we require the latest jQuery CDN link. For that, open a new tab and search for jQuery latest Google CDN. Enter. And from the search results, I'm selecting the first hosted libraries, the link left side. Now in this Google hosted libraries website, notice the contents panel contains a jQuery option here. Select that one. And here you can find the different jQuery CDN versions. I'm selecting the first one, the third one, which is the latest version 3.5.1. Let's copy up to this one script and paste this script in our HTML section after the title, in the header section. And also we require the jQuery UI also. Open that one. If you notice the jQuery UI, the snippets, one for the CSS and second one for the UI, user interface mini file, the CDN. Let's copy this both links, copy and paste here in the header section in our HTML page. After that, we require the dollar, require the script tag first. Script. Let's close the script tag. Now inside the script, dollar document dot ready function let's close with semicolon here. Now I'm adding the date picker for this input type date. So the type date I'm deleting. Instead of date, I'm adding the text. Let's add the ID is equals to date picker. I'm adding the ID for this box. So here first, dollar between double quotes, when we're adding the IDs of the element, let's copy this ID, copy this one and paste here hash DatePicker is equals to DatePicker function. DatePicker add semicolon. That's it. Now let's save this file. Save all. Now we'll check the output. Notice after I reload the browser, notice when I click the join date, oops, something went wrong. It's not displaying the jQuery DatePicker. Let's check that one and fix. So here is not equals to, it's a dot. Sorry for that. Let's save this file. Save all. Now let's reload the browser again. I'm reloading the browser. After I reload the browser, now when I click So here we got the jQuery calendar. Let's insert. Now this time I'm adding the employee name Ben. I'm selecting the date, the 12th May. Notice when I insert this data, click insert. So here we got an error, operational error at the incorrect date time value. So if you notice, the date format is, first one is a year, month and date. So let's add the format here in the DatePicker method. Between curly brackets I'm adding date format colon, between single quotes I'm adding, first one is a year, month and date. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now I'm reloading the browser. Now after I reload the browser, now let's add employee name Ben again. Now this time I'm selecting the 10th May 2020, click insert. So here we got the employee name Ben is saved successfully. Let's check. Right now we got only one record in this table MP join. Let's browse. So here we got the Ben details is inserted successfully. The ID is 2, employee name is Ben, and employee join date is this one. That's it. We have implemented to insert the date using jQuery DatePicker in Django Python.